Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. This is the knee-jerk live reaction stream, as well as a Q&A. We're going to talk about Game Week 18, how we've done so far, and also look ahead to Game Week 19 as well. Chelsea have just finished their game against Nottingham Forest in a 1-1 draw, and that concludes match day or Game Week 18, I should say. And that's going to, we're going to reflect now and talk about our ranks and scores and how we've done. But before we get into it, Jordan, how you doing? Enjoying the football today and ready to get into it?
Yeah, I was hiding behind the sofa hoping Harry Kane didn't score, as it would have unsettled the good ranks that we've obviously had. So yeah, it was nice watching the last bit of football. Quite a shock for Spurs and quite a shock for Chelsea as well to end the game week on.
Yeah, we've got a few messages. Elliot says Happy New Year, guys. And then Nanjay also Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, Happy New Year to all of you guys, all you viewers. Hopefully you guys have a brilliant 2023. And without any further ado, let's bring up my team. So as you guys can see, Game Week 18 hasn't been kind to me compared to Game Week 17. Obviously, coming off the back of a 100-pointer. Now, 52 points for me currently, or for this game week. Let's get into the positives and negatives. So starting with Ward in goal, who got me 3 points, which isn't actually too bad regarding Danny Ward. I didn't think he'd keep a clean sheet. Now, for those who did watch that game, it was just a very, very strange game for Liverpool v Leeds. For those that watched it, I think Wout Faes decides to score 2 comical own goals. You won't see anything funny, and then there's 2 own goals. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I think Leicester were very unlucky in that game. They'll feel hard done by. They could have easily beaten Liverpool in that game. I think Liverpool were fortunate to win. Just the way they played, they weren't great. So Ward did get a bonus point. So 1 bonus point, which was nice. And he also made 5 saves, which got me the 1 point as well. But obviously, because he conceded, he ends up with 3 points. Moving on to the back line, let's start with Trippier. Now, Trippier, he did get me the 12-pointer. Is it the 12-pointer he got? Was it the 8-pointer?
Oh, sorry, it's the 8-pointer.
8-pointer, yeah, sorry. The 8-pointer from Trippier, because obviously the bonus points, he got 3. The clean sheet points, the yellow card, he got 1 yellow card, so he would have got 9 points. And also the minutes played. So Trippier did keep another clean sheet. So it was very nice to see him carrying on, as well as Newcastle, with that mean, strong defense. Trippier keeping that clean sheet, which was, really nice to see. And also him getting the 3 bonus points, which was, as expected for Kieran Trippier now. The bonus points that he's picking up, he's racking up, is brilliant to see. So, yeah, Newcastle just carrying on that form. So, yeah, do bear that in mind, guys. Trippier is on an 8-pointer, not a 12-pointer. I'll let Jordan try to get that changed on the slide. So, yeah, moving on to, so there you go, 8-pointer for Trippier. Moving on to the rest of the defense, Patterson and Ben White. Let's start with Ben White. Now, Ben White, I did play him because, for those that didn't know, I do have Reece James. So I benched Reece James to play Ben White, but Arsenal did concede. And the annoying thing was, actually, Ben White actually got subbed off on 59 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that. Literally a couple of seconds before 60 minutes, where he would have got the clean sheet point. So very annoying that Ben White didn't end up getting his clean sheet, because Arteta decides to sub him literally straight before that 60-minute mark. And if, it would have been nice for him to stay on a few more seconds, so to get the 6-pointer, but not to be. A bit annoying, that one. And 1 point for Ben White. Moving on to Patterson. Now, I assume not just me, a lot of managers will have played Cancelo. Now, Cancelo got benched yet again, 2 games in a row, which comes as a big, big surprise to many of us. So Patterson was the automatic substitution, and we saw Everton against Man City. Everton played really well, defended quite well, and they did get a draw against Man City in that 1-1. See, Patterson picked up a yellow card, so he only gets the 1 pointer. So, can't really complain. He came off the bench because Cancelo didn't get any minutes. So, all in all, the back line was pretty poor, apart from Trippier. Moving on to the midfield 5 now. Let's start with Mason Mount, who has just finished his game. I thought Chelsea were pretty poor in that game, if I'm being honest. I thought Nottingham Forest were the better team. I think Mount had one chance that he realistically could have scored throughout the whole game. I think it came in the first 1 or 2 minutes of the game. I think it was Thiago Silva or Koulibaly, one of the centre defenders. They put a long ball over the top. He went to Mount. Mount touched it down, left foot shot that went over the bar. But other than that, Mount didn't really have too many chances to get involved. He had a couple free kicks, hoping he can get assist. But I thought Chelsea were poor. Nottingham Forest definitely deserved their draw, at least in my opinion. And we know Chelsea have a double game week coming up, and we're going to be talking about that game week 19 in a sec as well. And should you actually be going for the Chelsea assets, because Sterling did score today. So Sterling did get a 9-pointer with the bonus points as well, which was nice for those owners. But I don't think we need double attack in Chelsea for sure, because Chelsea are one of those teams. They're very low scoring teams. They may get 1 or 2 goals a game. I don't see them scoring many goals, like three plus, like a City or a Liverpool or even an Arsenal. So do bear that in mind, guys, when you do bring in Mount, Sterling and Havertz. You'll have to be lucky in the sense you pick the right one, because on another day, it could be Mount that gets the 1 goal or Havertz that scores the 1 goal, because I don't see them scoring many. So do bear that in mind before you bring in the Chelsea assets. You'll have to be lucky that the one you pick is the one that scores, basically. Moving on to Salah, who does blank. Obviously, Salah blanked against Leicester, which was very annoying and frustrating. But then a day later, and then even today, we saw Harry Kane also blanked, as well as De Bruyne. So I was annoyed that Salah blanked, but because, as I said, Harry Kane and KDB also blanked, it kind of eased the pain. Because if Harry Kane and De Bruyne got returns, then our Salah owners, it would have been a bit more painful for us. But all the big hitters blanked, really, apart from Haaland, who did score. Moving on to Saka, and he keeps on scoring. So it only took him a minute to get a goal against Brighton. So yeah, he gets the one goal, and he also picked up a yellow card. So unfortunately, he doesn't get me the 7 point. So yeah, 6 points from Saka. Very happy. Martinelli as well in my team. Very happy to have a double Arsenal attack. I think on the unlimited transfers, I was 50-50. Should I get double Arsenal attack? But I'm so glad I went double Arsenal attack, because they've proven they are the team to beat. They've been brilliant so far this season, and I think double Arsenal attack is, helped me not have that bad of a game week. So if I didn't have those two, then maybe my team would have suffered a lot more. So it's nice to see Martinelli get another return with a goal and an assist against Brighton. So 10-pointer from Martinelli, another double-digit return. Can't really complain there too much. And yeah, just happy he's in my team. Finally, moving on to Rashford, who did pick up a 5-pointer as well. Rashford actually was on the bench due to a disciplinary for missing a team meeting, but he did come on at halftime and change the game. He did win Man United the game. So obviously he scored. Man United won 1-0, and Rashford did score the goal and also picked up a yellow card, so he didn't get me the 6-pointer. Now, as well as speaking about Chelsea and their lack of goals, I think Man United are another one of those teams that they don't score many goals. So when Man United do win, it's usually a 1 or 2 goal margin. And Rashford, I think, is key for Man United. And I think he's the best Man United asset. So at his price, he just had a price rise last night as well. So if you don't have Rashford, you probably want to get him in, because I do think he's the best asset in that Man United team. And then finally, Haaland, he was my captain. He did score again against Everton. He also picked up a yellow card, so -1 for the yellow card. And he also got 1 bonus point. So 12 points, not too bad. I expected Haaland to get more, if I'm honest. I was surprised to see Man City not win that game, 1-1 at home against Everton, which was a shock result. But he scored anyway. But we'll see how Haaland and Man City get on, because they've got a tough set of games coming up and they need to turn it around. And finally, Martial, who did blank. He's already been transferred out for those that did watch my team selection video. He's turned out of my team, and I've switched him for Mitrovic. So Martial is gone. I've bought in Mitrovic for his double game week, and yeah, maybe Martial could score against Bournemouth in game week 19, but I'm taking that risk and hoping a double game week player can outscore him. But yeah, Martial wasn't involved too much in that game, and I thought he wasn't that great until Rashford came on. So that is the team, guys. Hopefully that's covered everything. And on the bench, as you can see, I have no points. And 52 points for me this game week, which is a red arrow. It's a very small red arrow. I think it's a 60k red arrow, which is slightly annoying. I think I was 3 points off a green arrow. So Salah, Mount, one of them could, or even Martial could get me a return. I probably would have got a green, but not to be. It is a red arrow to 1.2 million now. And I'm hoping game week 19, double game week 19, can definitely bounce back for me. And hopefully I can get a green arrow in that week as well. So that's my game week 18 stuff out the way. Let's bring up your team and just talk us through game week 18 for yourself, Jordan, and your team.
Okay, so here's how game week 18 went for me. So we'll start off with Ederson in goal for Man City, who was against Everton. We all know what happened in that game. The first shock, Man City drew to Everton 1-1. So that does rule out the clean sheet for Ederson yet again. Man City aren't managing to keep clean sheets, and it's a bit of a worry, especially when we have Cancelo problems with him being benched, as well as the clean sheet whites for Man City. It does ask the question whether do we go defenders now for Man City, especially when we don't know who's nailed for it, in particular two. But yeah, only 2 points for Ederson. Moving on to the back three, we got Ben White, who does come on for Cancelo, as he didn't start in that Everton game. A bit unfortunate. It seems like Pep and Arteta seem to troll us with their substitutions, as Arteta has literally done it for Ben White, as he literally played a few more seconds before substituting him off. He would have got a clean sheet, and even more better because Arsenal did concede 2 goals to Brighton. So all the clean sheet whites for the other players like Saliba and Gabriel would have been completely gone, even though they were gone anyway. So it was quite a relief that Arsenal didn't keep a clean sheet, especially when Ben White was substituted off a few seconds before he was guaranteed one. So it was a bit of a frustrating one. But yeah, overall, he only got 1 point for playing time. Moving on to Trippier, was quite a stalemate type of game against Leeds. It did end in 0-0, but nonetheless, Trippier did get a bonus points there. He did get a yellow card too, so he doesn't get the full 9 points if he with the clean sheet and the bonus. But it's still a good return for Trippier. Doesn't matter much really because we do mostly own him, but it's nice to see Trippier keep returning points. Moving on to Luke Shaw now. He's a popular guy at the moment, Luke Shaw, especially with his clean sheet against Wolves and the bonus 3 as well on top of that. So that gives him a total of 9 points. Very nice return yet again for you, Luke Shaw, back-to-back bonus points and clean sheets for Man United, which is a good result, especially with his low ownership. He has definitely paid off in these last 2 game weeks for me. I'm quite glad I brought him in for this game week because it has paid off for Man United in terms of assets. Moving on to the midfield now, we've got Martinelli, who got the 10-pointer in that Arsenal 4-2 win. Quite an enjoyable, exciting game on both ends. We thought Brighton could make a comeback in that game, but it wasn't to be, especially with Matoma's goal ruled out. A bit unfortunate for that 3rd goal. But yeah, Arsenal do stay in prime position. I think they'll be happy Man City drew as well. Just takes them even more further ahead for the Premier League title, which looks like it's going to happen. Who knows? It depends how the rest of the season goes from Arsenal. But yeah, nice double haul for Martinelli. Again, he's still highly owned, but it's nice for him to return that double haul in this game week. Moving on to Almiron, who does blank finally after so many games. He only gets the 1 point for 1 point for the clean sheet and 2 for the playing time full 90. So it was pretty quiet from Almiron, and in particular from many people. Only really the defenders really getting much from that game, and nothing for the attackers. So yeah, Almiron blank. We have to see what he does next game week. Moving on to Fernandes and Rashford. Finally, Fernandes does get a return. He gets an assist from Rashford's only goal for Man United in that Wolves game. So that was a nice double return from the Man United duo. So, yeah, 6-pointer from Fernandes for the assist, and obviously the playing time and the clean sheet. And finally, we have Marcus Rashford, who obviously gets the goal, the points for the goal, gets 5 points, but he gets here. I think he got a yellow card, so it did take away 1 point from that. But nonetheless, even though he only played 45 minutes, it's pretty good for Rashford to score in the limited time he had. And I think without him coming on, I don't think Man United would have really scored. There wasn't really any potential chances apart from Martial for players to actually get a return in that game. But yeah, good for Rashford. And moving on to the front three. Here's another player that's done well for me, Nketiah. Once again, he scores. Really nice goal against Brighton. He gets the 8-pointer with the bonus 2. So another differential return for me, which is pretty good this game week. And yeah, Arsenal attack have been relentless. I think you can't go wrong with who you pick for Arsenal up front, because you're just going to assume pretty much every Arsenal player will get a return, guaranteed. I think the way Arsenal are playing, so quite excited to see what Arsenal bring against obviously Newcastle. We've got Erling Haaland, who's got 12-pointer. Not much to say about Haaland, apart from the shock of Man City drawing to Everton 1-1. Quite a shock. We all thought it was going to be a landslide victory for Man City, but they do drop points, and Haaland is the only returner for Man City, getting the only goal. And obviously with the captaincy over him, he gets 12 points. So it's a nice return, even though he only scored 1 point. And yeah, pretty much all we can say about Haaland. And finally, we've got Darwin Núñez, who, in the weirdest of circumstances, does return with an assist from courtesy of Faye, scoring that that goal which hit the post and it went back onto Faye, counted as an assist for Darwin. So I think we'll take what we can from that, because Darwin has been frustrating. I think it's nice for us Darwin owners that he actually got points in that Leicester game, because it didn't look like he was going to at all, or anyone else in that Liverpool game. It just looked absolutely dreadful. But yeah, he gets the 5 points for the assist and match time played. So that's how my starting 11 team went. Went pretty good. Just go through my bench quickly. So we got Danny Ward, who got 3 points. Cancelo obviously got 0 for not playing. Castagna got 1 point. Rodrigo got 3. And that is pretty much how my players are done. I'm currently on the green arrow. I'm on 564,571k. And it's pretty much a 300k green arrow. So it's a massive green arrow for me. It's pretty happy with the back-to-back green arrows as well. And a very successful game week, 68 points. And I've finally broken through the 1,000 total point bracket. So I'm on 1,052. And yeah, that's pretty much how my game week 18 team went.
Okay, nice. So that's both our game week 18 teams out the way. I will be discussing game week 19 in a sec. We'll be looking ahead to game week 19. But let's take a few of your comments. There's a few comments that have come in. Thank you for all the comments. We are going to read them all out. It's just getting to all of them. We've got Martin in the chat. FPL Josh says, I kept Nketiah in the end. Glad I did. 105 points for him this week. That's a nice score. Might next week take out Rashford and bring in Nketiah. I'd be keeping Rashford against that Bournemouth fixture, if I'm honest. But yeah, and Nketiah has Newcastle, which is a tougher game. So maybe it's the wrong time to bring Nketiah in. Personally, I prefer Rashford for the next fixture anyway. What's your thoughts? You own both.
Unless he means the fixture after Bournemouth.
Yeah, then
yeah, that makes sense to take out Rashford and bring in Nketiah. But
yeah, I mean one's a forward.
Yeah, that's true. One is a forward, and Nketiah is the forward, so I imagine it's a sort of a downgrade if you're taking out Rashford for someone else.
Mm. We've got Shrey in the chat. We're good. How's it going? Yeah, not too bad, mate. Hope you're well. Do we sell Cancelo or keep him because of City's 2 double game weeks? We are going to talk about Cancelo in depth, I think, because he's going to be quite a subject of talking point, because I see by a few comments on Cancelo. So, should we talk about Cancelo now? Yeah, let's discuss Cancelo. What's the plan with him? Because I have him. You have him as well. Do we take him out? Because at this moment in time, I'm signing towards holding him.
Well, I think for me, I have the luxury of taking him out because I have Edison. I think that was the original plan, was in case Cancelo had poor form, or in this case didn't start for the last 2 games. I think it is worth taking him out. I mean, if you have like Edison, for example, because he's just nailed. Edison's going to play. With Cancelo, it just seems like that's not the case at the moment. So I think it is worth selling him, but I think you have to make an investment and getting Edison in if you are to do that, just so you have cover in defence.
I mean, it doesn't look like we need Edison as well either, because they're not keeping many clean sheets. So maybe we can get away without that City defence, but they have a double coming up in game week 20. So a lot of people would be wanting to hold their Man City assets for that game. So just taking a look at Man City's fixtures on the screen. So I've got it on my phone here, actually. So they've got Chelsea next. Now, I don't really see a clean sheet in that game. Maybe actually they do, because Chelsea's attack isn't great. Like, Chelsea aren't a team that's going to score many goals. So they may get one, or maybe they could get a clean sheet. So, and then after that, in game week 20, Man City play Man United, which is going to be a bit of a tight game for them. And then Spurs, who did look poor today. So I personally would be holding Cancelo if you can, and trying to bench him and see what happens in that Chelsea game. So the current thinking for me with Cancelo is hold him, see if he starts against Chelsea. If he starts against Chelsea, then you just keep him for the double. If he doesn't start against Chelsea, then I personally would transfer him out. I'm giving him that one more week. I know people might not agree with me and they might want to transfer him out, which is fair enough if you want to take him out and you've had enough. But I think with that double coming up in game week 20, I want to see if he kind of has won his place back, because Man City drew to Everton. Maybe that gives Pep a bit of decision to make now, thinking, I've just drew, and do I bring Cancelo back in? I think it would be a dilemma for Pep. So I'm willing to hold him for one more week, because I have other issues as well that I need to solve, such as Reece James, because I own Reece James as well, and he's my priority to take out. So if you're not in that same boat as me, where you've got Reece James and Cancelo currently, I would be tempted to remove Cancelo, but bear in mind he does have a double game week, and whether you want him on for that game or not, you'll have to look into that. And whether you want him for the double, I think your decision will be made from that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think on Cancelo as well in the chat. Are you going to keep him, or are you going to just get rid and have, if you had enough? Alex says, don't know which one to bench out of Castagna, Cancelo, Trippier. I'm on Trippier at the moment with Castagna home to Fulham, and strongly believe Pep was resting Cancelo, Foden for these tough games. What do you make of this? Because I'm not sure whether Pep is resting Foden and Cancelo. I think Pep's just is performance related, or even I've seen some rumors saying it's based on attitude. Apparently they haven't been themselves in training, whatnot. I do you think it's just being rested, or do you think there's something else? Obviously, we will never know. We're just guessing here now. But yeah, I personally think there's more to it. I think there's more to it than just being rested. I think 2 games in a row is very strange, especially with the games being so close together. I think there could be something else in it. So yeah, that's my hunch.
Yeah, I mean, for Cancelo from the World Cup, I think Pep was keeping a good eye on Cancelo in that, and he was poor for Portugal. Like, he was that poor. The Portugal coach even benched him. So I think it's no surprise that Cancelo was decided to be benched by Pep. I mean, it could be performance related just from that observation that he picked up from the World Cup. But coming back into the Premier League, it is a bit of questionable why he's been benched twice now,
And Foden.
and Foden as well, because I think Foden's been benched 3 times, not just in the Premier League, but also
4.
in the other competition as well that Man City play.
Also,
So
I was going to add quickly, before the World Cup,
yeah,
Foden also missed the last 2 games before the World Cup break. So Foden's been benched a lot recently, and even before the World Cup. So Foden is a worry as well for those that own him.
yeah, it's just not clear what Pep is up to with these players like Cancelo and Foden. These are key players that you'd want in your starting team, but he doesn't seem to be wanting to play them for whatever reason it is. I'm pretty sure we'll find out eventually why that is, because it is a bit of a questionable thing why
Yeah,
Foden's been benched. A
I
fresh
think
player like that.
I think Chelsea, they play they play Chelsea in game week 19. I think that will tell us a lot. If Cancelo
Yeah.
and Foden are benched yet again in that big game where you say, it's a top 6 rival, then I think something's gone on, and maybe Pep's, I don't know, punishing Cancelo or Foden for other things we're probably not aware of. Because if it's just, surely you've got to play Foden as well, like the way he usually is, and the way Man City are playing, especially Mahrez and Grealish, they've not been great. So I'm surprised Foden hasn't come in. But in my opinion, just going back to Alex's question, don't know which one to bench. I'd probably bench. Don't know which one to bench out of Castagna, Cancelo, Trippier. I would bench. It's hard to say. I wouldn't bench Trippier, even though I know he's got Arsenal. It's just I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow managed to get an assist against Arsenal. Honestly, Cancelo, I don't like the idea of benching Cancelo, but I think that's the way you got to go now. I think you probably have to bench Cancelo or just take him out, really. But yeah, Castagna against Fulham could be decent. Would you play Castagna, Jordan?
Yeah, I have Castagna myself, and I've been thinking whether I should play him or not in my team. It would possibly help manage the headache for me in terms of defence.
Mm.
It's not a bad thing because Fulham, you can possibly see Fulham struggling in that game, maybe, especially away. It's not such a bad idea. I mean, Castagna has sort of an attacking threat too,
Yeah.
with Leicester too. So, no, I don't particularly see it's a bad idea. I think it's good to play him.
Martin football, I have De Gea, Ward, Trent, Trippier, Dunk, Shaw, Lewis, who's, I think he means Lewis Dunk, Saka, Gakpo, Salah, Almiron, March, and Nketiah, Mitchell, Haaland. What transfer should I make? And I have 0.5 in the bank too. I was going to mention potentially a Chelsea midfielder, i.e. Mount, Sterling, because of the double. But your team looks fine. If you're not sold on Chelsea, then I'll just roll a transfer personally. Shrey, who would be the best to take out? Reece James, Cancelo, Foden. I would say out of those, probably Foden, because he's taking up a lot of money, 8 million or so, and there's a lot of midfielders that you're missing out on. Rashford, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard. And you'd want these midfielders. Like I personally would take out Foden because he's taking up a lot of money, and most importantly, he's taking up a valuable midfield slot. And I believe most of the best players so far are in midfield, like your Rashfords, Martinelli, Saka's, Odegaard's. If you want to take a punt on Gakpo, but we'll come on to Gakpo because there's been a few comments on him. Is KDB and Eddie Nketiah to Odegaard and Kane a good transfer? I like that Odegaard move for sure. Kane, what's your thoughts on Kane, Jordan? Because he didn't score today. He blanked. Spurs don't look great at all. Kulusevski is injured. He did miss the game through injury, and Son doesn't look like himself. Thoughts on Spurs?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Spurs. They lost 2-0 to Aston Villa today, which was a shocking
At home
result
as well.
Yeah, at home. That's a shocking result for Conte. But with Spurs, it's like Harry Kane is basically carrying the whole team in that match.
Even he wasn't great today.
No, he wasn't particularly great. Only the header that Ashley Young cleared off the line was probably the best thing Harry Kane did in that game. But there wasn't a shine out player from that game at all. The defense is absolutely atrocious. So they can't keep clean sheets at the moment, Spurs, and they can't win games like those easy
Mm.
ones like Aston Villa. So I'm not too keen on bringing in Kane just from that performance that Spurs gave earlier on today.
Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys actually as well, so I can bring up fixtures and show you the team fixtures. So bear with me for a sec. But personally, um, I'm not a fan of Kane for the next few game weeks, if I'm honest, because just taking a look at Kane's fixtures, um, he has Crystal Palace next, which it could be a bit of a tough one for them. And then after that, he's got a double game week, which is positive. But the negative is it's against Arsenal and Man City, the two top teams. So do you want Kane for a double game week? I know Spurs actually have a very, very good record, bit of a bogey team for Man City in recent recent years. But I'm not so sure about if I'd want Harry Kane when he's got Palace, Spurs, City, Fulham, and then City again in game week 22. So yeah, I mean, I'd prefer Darwin. I know Darwin has been a frustrating figure himself, missing chances and whatnot. But with Liverpool's fixtures, I'd back Darwin over Kane personally, and you save a bit of money. So I'd rather go to a Salah or a KDB ahead of Kane. I think Kane, for me, is the least attractive premium there is right now. I think Haaland, Salah, KDB are all more attractive than Kane. I don't know if you agree, Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's worth keeping KDB and holding on to him. And we've quite advised this a lot, especially in our transfer tip video, that KDB should be a hold just because of the fixture that they have, and obviously because he blanked back to back. He's not always going to do that every week, KDB. So it's only a matter of time before he does get a return. And I feel like he has been unfortunate as well to not get something. As well as Nketiah as well. Back-to-back returns from him for Arsenal. I'll still want to keep him. I mean, I'm keeping him in my team, even though they have Newcastle, which could be a tough game for them. There's no doubt that he can maybe get one past Newcastle's defence. It's going to be hard, but I just have a good feeling. But I understand with Odegaard, he is a valuable player to bring in, as he is he's been quite good for Arsenal. He scored a nice goal in that Brighton game, and yeah, he's looking good as a attacking midfielder.
He's also a bit of a bonus points magnet that he prefers. Well, he usually gets the bonus points ahead of Saka and Martinelli because of his, he's creative and his passing, and he's better for bonus points, Odegaard. So that's why I do like him. Odegaard is literally half the price of KDB, and he's outperformed KDB in terms of the underlying numbers in terms of assists in the last few games. So I do like Odegaard, and I wish I had him really. I think he's going to be a good pick moving forward. If you want to be different, I would go Odegaard over Saka right now. So I've got Saka in my team. I'm very happy that I've got him, but Odegaard could be a bit of a nice differential because not a lot of people have him still. And yeah, as I mentioned with this comment, Odegaard or Saka. Right now, if I had to pick, I'd probably just choose Odegaard to be different. But I got Saka in my team and I like him a lot as well. So, but taking a look at Arsenal's fixtures, what do you see in the next couple games? Newcastle, I think that game is, it's a tough game. Newcastle are flying high in third place. Tottenham, North London derby. I know Spurs lost 2-0 today, but usually that's a bit of a tough game historically. You'd expect Spurs to turn up in that one. I don't know if they'll win, but you'd expect them to give a fight to Arsenal. Then they've got Manchester United. So Arsenal's fixtures, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United, their next three. Do you want to triple up on the attack, double up on the attack? I'm not so sure. What's your thoughts? Do you think we should double up and triple up on the attack with those three next? Or we just wait and let's see how they do against the tougher opposition?
I think it's worth doubling, at least a double attack. I wouldn't go triple, I don't think, for those fixtures. Especially for that Tottenham one. They lost to Aston Villa today, but I guess they could turn up with Arsenal as a bigger opponent. That Tottenham defence, that's a vulnerability in itself.
Yeah.
And if they bring that to Arsenal's game, then that is just going to be a game over for Tottenham. Their defence needs to improve. by the time game week 20 comes along, because Arsenal are going to rip that into two, you'll see probably, I don't know, maybe it is a shock. We might see a lot of goals in that one from Arsenal if they can keep up their attacking form. It's been actually relentless, taking out teams, numerous numbers like Brighton, 4 against them.
Yeah.
And they were one of the best defences of the season. So, yeah, maybe Arsenal can do that against Tottenham. I wouldn't classify it as a red, definitely, at the moment. I'll say it's probably a grey for Arsenal, but I guess it is an away fixture, which could mean it might be a bit difficult.
Yeah. Also got a comment here from Chief. Like the stream, guys. Loads of us watching. Yeah, just got to also point out, if you are still watching the stream, if you are enjoying the content, and if you want to show us your support and appreciation, please do drop a like on the stream if you can. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as well. We're very, very close to 700 subscribers. So like and subscribe, guys, if you can. Where was we? We was on Arsenal. So yeah, I think the triple up isn't necessary. I know we've seen people say Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli all in Nketiah. I'm not sure I would go there, but double, I wouldn't rule it out. I have double myself currently. I know people have considered potentially getting rid of Martinelli. I don't think I'd do that because they can still score against Newcastle, Tottenham, and even Man United. Because surprisingly, Man United are actually the only team that have beaten Arsenal so far this season. And even in that game, Arsenal probably were unlucky that they didn't win the match because they were the better team. But, Man United did win that one. So, and that's another important game. So I think the next 3 games are going to be key for Arsenal in terms of their title credentials. But yeah, that's on Arsenal. We've got a few more comments coming in. Let me just zoom out. We've got a few comments here that I've missed. Callum Wilson to Mitrovic. I like that move. Trossard to Mount for a -4. If you're going to captain Mount, then yeah, I'd do it. I'd take the -4 if you're going to captain him. If you're going to captain either of them, I'd do it. But yeah, those are the 2 moves I probably would make if I was you. Martin says, by the way, Gakpo is in FPL now. Yep, FPL have added Gakpo. And people want our thoughts on Michael says, thoughts on Gakpo. Well, as far as I'm aware, Gakpo will not play against Brentford. Well, he will not start against Brentford, according to Klopp. I believe Klopp did come out and say that because of the way, obviously yesterday, today is the hot weekend, obviously, and then tomorrow is a bank holiday Monday. So because tomorrow is a bank holiday Monday, apparently I've heard somewhere that the paperwork might not be signed in time for Gakpo to start or actually play. So I don't know how true that is. I wouldn't expect Gakpo to start, guys. Personally, I think Gakpo may be on the bench if we're lucky. I expect his debut to come in the FA Cup game against Wolves. So I'll be very, very surprised if Gakpo starts against Brentford tomorrow. I just don't see it. I think more likely that he starts against Wolves in the FA Cup, and then maybe in game week 20 is when we see him being involved in the Premier League. So I don't know if I'll be bringing Gakpo in right now. I don't see him starting, if I'm honest, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. I'll be very, very surprised if he starts tomorrow. It feels very soon. Tony does not have a significant injury. Yeah, it's a good point actually. News has come out today. I don't know if you heard. It looks like Tony's injury isn't that bad, and he could be fine to play Liverpool tomorrow. What's your thoughts on that? Bit of a surprise news because we thought he was out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's good news for Brentford that Tony's going to be able to play in that game, possibly. It still wouldn't convince me to bring him in, even though Tony has scored against Man City and did haul. But it's still a tough fixture, I would say, for Liverpool against, Brentford-wise. Even though Liverpool have been great and conceding goals, I'll still be worried about Tony and his injury, even though it's not significant, because it could easily become significant during that game. So it'd be a risky move.
Yeah, I mean, with Tony, I think he is still a good pick, but a lot of us would want doubles, and Mitrovic seems more popular than him. But yeah, it's good news. I mean, maybe bad news for Liverpool's defense for those that have Liverpool defenders still. Um, yeah, let's read out a few more comments. Yeah, animation. Sorry, and I understood what you meant. Uh, yeah, after City is fine. Hi everyone, I have Odegaard and Kane. I wouldn't change them, says Jenny Berry. Yeah, I wouldn't change Odegaard for sure. I don't think there's any need. Kane, I prefer Salah or KDB over Kane right now. But yeah, um, oh, okay, Lewis, the Man City defender. Sorry, my bad. Rico Lewis. Yes. Um, who else did I miss out a comment from? Hi guys, Mitro for Martial. That looks good. Or Rashford for Trossard. I wouldn't be taking Rashford out when he's got Bournemouth at home. So I would keep Rashford and I'll do Mitrovic in for Martial out. I'd keep Darwin as well for another week or so. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Would you be keeping? I'm assuming you're going to keep Rashford when he's got Bournemouth at home. Or thoughts?
Well, yeah, definitely keeping Rashford in for that easy fixture at Bournemouth at home. Wouldn't want to take him out for that because he may possibly score in that game because we know he's going to start in this one. But I'd probably regret it if I took him out and he did get something because he is highly owned as well now. His ownership has risen, so it would be a risk to take him out. And Trossard, I'm not been a big fan of his performances in the coming game weeks for Brighton.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I'd keep Rashford. I'd keep Darwin, and I'd be tempted to remove Martial. Shrey, who should I keep on the bench and transfer? Kepa, Ward, Gabriel, Delo, Cancelo, Trippier, James, Andreas, Martinelli, Rashford, Foden, Trossard, Haaland, Mitrovic, Darwin. Well, you'll have to keep James on the bench for sure because he's injured still. Cancelo, I'd probably bench Cancelo. Delo, actually, you've got Delo as well. He probably ain't going to be back for that game, so I think you need to make some transfers. You probably want to bring in a Luke Shaw potentially, or even a Cucurella if you want to double up. But I'm not so sure on Cucurella and Chelsea's defense because with a back four, they don't look as good. And without James, none of the fullbacks have that attacking threat. If like I said, if James was fit, he's a must buy for me. He's out. Cucurella doesn't get involved with the attack as much. Like I'm considering Cucurella myself, but I may actually fall back on that one and bring in someone else like a Luke Shaw, who's a bit more. Well, I know what I'm going to get with him, kind of thing. He's going to play, and he should get a clean sheet against Bournemouth at home. So yeah, I'd be looking to definitely transfer out one of the players, probably James to Cucurella or Luke Shaw. Take your pick.
Yeah, I think easy substitution Delo to Shaw. I think that's quite a straightforward transfer because Shaw's going to play Bournemouth at home and potentially a clean sheet from there as well. And
I mean, when Delo's back, I think Delo becomes a really good option, but you don't want to really wait until he's back because we don't know when he's back. So yeah, unfortunately, because I do think Delo would have been a good pick actually ahead of Luke Shaw if they were both fit. Thank you, Martin. Great stream. Thank you for your kind words. Think I'm certain on captaining Haaland after watching how poor Chelsea were today, and City will be looking for a big response. This is an interesting comment because I want to bring you into this, Jordan, because you're going to captain Haaland. For those that can see, I have the captain's armband on Mount right now. So talk us, why should we captain Haaland and why should we avoid potentially going for a Mount Mitrovic? Instead of, are you still sold on Haaland or, like for me, example, I'm on captaining a double game week. What do you think of Haaland? Do you think you can outscore?
Yeah, easily. Even with a single fixture, Haaland can outscore potentially double game week players. We've seen it quite a few times where he's double hauled in games, like in that Leeds game, he got 13 points. Against Brighton, he got 13 points. Man United, 23. Nottingham Forest, 17. So it just goes on and on for Haaland. And he's only had, 3 blanks this season. And pretty much all returns in the rest of the fixtures, which is very consistent compared to, let's say Mason Mount, who has only had 1 return since the comeback of FPL from the World Cup. Even before the World Cup, we only saw, I think, 2 returns from Mason Mount. Other than that, he's pretty much blanked or been benched or substituted on, where there hasn't been as much consistency from Chelsea in particular, and also Mason Mount. That doesn't convince me enough for me to, as well as bring one in like Mason Mount, and as well as captain Mason Mount or someone else from Chelsea.
Or Havertz or Sterling. This could be anyone, guys.
Yeah, anyone in particular, any Chelsea assets. I'm not convinced enough just from the record that it shows.
What about for those that want to captain Mitrovic instead of Haaland?
With Mitrovic, it's a risk because if he gets a yellow card, he becomes a standard 1 game week player. That's another thing that we have to consider. Also with the fixtures, I don't think they're the greatest fixtures for Fulham either. I think they're going to be pretty tough as well. And I think Mitrovic comes off with a blank.
Fulham have Leicester and Chelsea. And I think personally, Mitrovic can get a goal against Leicester and Chelsea, because Chelsea, for those that watched the game today, Nottingham Forest played pretty good, and they did cause Chelsea backline a bit of trouble. So I don't see why Mitrovic can't do it. And Leicester, we've seen Leicester aren't great either. I know they performed a bit better against Liverpool, but overall, Leicester have struggled this season. So, I don't think Mitrovic is a bad shout, personally. If you want to take that risk with the yellow card, I don't think it's a bad idea. But as Jordan has said, it is kind of scary going against Haaland, because as we show you guys, there's only been 4 games where Haaland hasn't scored, and there's only 3 games where he hasn't got a return, I believe. So, yeah, just look at Haaland. He scored 2 goals against West Ham. He got an assist against Bournemouth. He got a goal against Newcastle. He got 3 goals against Palace, 3 goals against Nottingham Forest, 1 goal against Villa, 1 goal against Wolves, 3 against Man United, then a 1 against Southampton. It just goes on. So it's going to be interesting to see what people do in regards to Haaland and Mount, Havertz, Sterling, Mitrovic, wherever you want to go, because I still believe Haaland will probably be majority captain for this week.
Yeah.
But if you are chasing, if you are chasing, there could be a temptation to go different, but it's a risk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a massive risk because Haaland is 84% owned in FPL managers. So it is a massive impact on rank if he just gets 1 assist. A return does drastic stuff to your rank if you haven't captained Haaland. And I think without Haaland in the Premier League, we would say otherwise. Like, Mount's a great one to go for, double game week. But because Haaland's in the Premier League and what he's done so far in it, he's smashing records. He's scoring countless goals pretty much every game. And it just has 1 upscale and then 1 downscale in terms of Chelsea to downscale. And I could probably see Haaland being the upscale in game week 19.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see where people decide to go with captaincy. And right now, I've got it on Mount, but that could change. As I said, it's just on there for now. Deadline stream is tomorrow. Do join us tomorrow. 3 p.m. deadline, or 4 p.m. deadline. But we're going to stream at 3 o'clock for an hour, and we're going to, I'm sure I'm going to be debating till 4 p.m. Mitrovic, I could go Mitrovic, but that yellow card does worry me as well, if I'm honest. Because I know if he gets that yellow, he'll miss Chelsea. And Haaland has Chelsea. So what do we expect from that Haaland? What do we expect from City and Chelsea in that fixture in terms of what can Haaland do? Are you expecting another win? Because obviously City did struggle against Everton in the sense that City were the better team against Everton. They should have probably won with the chances they had, but they couldn't find a win. Obviously, Haaland did still score. But do you expect them to brush aside Chelsea pretty comfortably?
I think, yeah, they'll try definitely more harder because they want to be still in the race for the title. Obviously, they don't want to give it to Arsenal that easily. So there will be that fight to win those 3 points, especially coming off that 1 point from that draw for Everton. I think they're going to come out guns blazing for Chelsea. Probably go full attack on them. They give them no chance. And I think there's a bit of confidence from Man City after watching what Chelsea done literally a few hours ago against Nottingham Forest, which wasn't really convincing it may be a boost to Man City watching that game that Chelsea's defence isn't really that great. It's very vulnerable without Reece James, as we have spoken about before that Chelsea game, how Chelsea do play without Reece James, and it goes to show from that game he is a massive miss to that defence. It does struggle without him, and I think Man City will take that as an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you'll have to weigh up the risk and reward in regards to whether you go for a double game weeker like a Mount or a Mitrovic. Because all Mount needs and all Mitrovic needs is a goal as well. Because you see, they're going to play two games. That's 2 points for Man City. Sorry, looking at Mount, he's going to play against Man City 90 minutes, so that's 2 points. He's going to play against Fulham. That's 2 points. Captain, so that's 4. Double it. If they can get one return, but then Haaland could easily get 2 goals in one game, as we've seen as well. So you'll have to weigh that up, guys. I'm sure it'll be fun watching the deadline stream tomorrow. So make sure you do tune in for that one. Are you playing White? So right now, White is in my team to play for Game Week 19, but I'm planning on doing a transfer. So as you guys can see, James is on my bench. He's flagged. I may bring in Luke Shaw. I was thinking of Cucurella for those that did watch the team selection video. My plan was James to Cucurella, but after watching Chelsea today, do I really want their defender for one game week? And then I'll probably want to remove him again. Like if it was just a free hit, then I'd have Cucurella definitely. But looking at Chelsea's fixtures, they've got a double, which is nice, Cucurella. But then Palace, Liverpool, Fulham. Would I want Cucurella for these games? I'm not so sure, and that's why I may go without him. But I do like the fact he's got a double game week. But it's just Luke Shaw, who maybe I can hold for a bit longer, even though his fixtures turn as well, don't they? Luke Shaw's.
Yeah.
Looking at his. Luke Shaw's got Man City and Arsenal after that. So I may still go Cucurella. You'll have to tune in whether I decide who to go with. But Cucurella I don't really feel like he's going to get me a attacking return. I don't really see it personally. He's not that attacking. He may get something, but I think it's more the hope than the way he's playing right now, because he doesn't even get that forward. So you could just go for Thiago Silva, save the money, hope they get a clean sheet against Fulham, and even City if they can somehow lock City up. But yeah, I'm not sure on that Chelsea. If James was fit, look, I'd definitely be having James in my team, as you can see. But that injury has ruined my plans, because one of the key reasons why I went James in the first place, because I knew this double was coming up and I wanted him. But now he's injured, he doesn't appeal to me as much. Thoughts on Foden to Mount? I'm scared Foden will play more again. Jordan, I'll let you take this one. Obviously, I've got Mount. Foden.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't be scared if Foden will play again, because the amount of games he's missed, even if he scored a hat-trick in his next game, I don't think that'll still be enough for to be worthy of having Foden in the team. I think with all the games he's missed, there's so much points lost in that position, that midfield. Like, considering how many midfielders have scored that are cheaper than Foden, is unreal. And I think it's just I think it's time that Foden does come out of many people's teams. I mean, being benched twice isn't the most appealing for your team, especially when you want a midfielder that's going to start and play 90 minutes and not come on for like 10 minutes and get 1 point.
Yeah, we've been through the Foden stuff as a Foden owner. I think you owned Foden, didn't you, at the start of the season? And you learned quite quickly that it's just a pain in the ass having a player like Foden, because when he doesn't start, you're thinking, oh, he'll start the next one, so I may as well keep him. Then he doesn't start back to back, and then you're in that position where you just got to take him out, because you can't take that risk of him not playing. And he's taken up a fair size of money, and there's players out there, like we've mentioned, Almiron, who scored in game week 18. There's Odegaard scoring every week or assisting every week. Rashford's doing well. Saka's doing brilliant. Mount scored last game week. Martinelli's still doing well. So yeah, I would get rid of Foden. I think that's what I'd be doing. And if he scores in game week 19, it's just one of those we'll have to take it on the chin and just, he'll probably get benched for game week 20 anyway, so you shouldn't worry. He's just not I mean, the Pep Roulette is going to get you sometime.
Yeah, it will catch up eventually. I do have a recommendation, Adam, though. This is a little punt that you could possibly take because not many people have actually spoken about it. But instead of going to Mount, why don't you go Foden to Andreas? Because Andreas does double as well.
Mm.
It's less risk as well over Mitrovic, who's on 4 yellow, who's on 4 yellows. So, and Andreas has looked pretty good. I mean, he has come close to scoring. He did get denied an assist for one of the games, and he did hit a crossbar in the last game week. So he
Yeah.
is a dangerous threat, maybe to Leicester and Chelsea.
Yeah, Andreas could be a good pick, actually. He's cheap as well, so you can't really go wrong if you could just bench him most weeks as well. So, but I would be setting you up for, you know, for someone like Odegaard and stuff. I'll be looking to bring these players in because I think they have the potential to do really well over the coming weeks, even though Arsenal's fixtures do turn slightly. Mitrovic in for Martial. Darwin, we've gone through this one. We'd probably prefer to take out Martial ahead of Darwin just because Martial's fixtures turn quite bad in 20. They've got Man City and they've got Arsenal as well. And Darwin, just look at Darwin's fixtures. Let me bring it up. Darwin's fixtures are still quite good. Yes, I know he's missing chances, but he's getting the chances, and you rather a striker that gets chances than one that doesn't get chances. So Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Wolves, Everton. So on paper, his fixtures are better than Martial's. And one thing about Darwin, he's actually getting better quality of chances than Martial. He's getting high volume of chances, and these are good chances as well. So it's whether you have faith in Darwin to convert. I do. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts converting one of these chances. And yeah, I wouldn't worry too much in that regard. But if you want to take it to someone like Mitrovic for a double, and you've not got either of them, I would be looking to bring Mitrovic in as well. Thoughts on this team? Kepa, Shaw, Trippier, Gabriel, Saka, Odegaard, KDB, Rashford, Haaland, Kane, Mitrovic, captain. The team looks solid. Obviously, Jordan probably would rather captain Haaland over the doubler, but the team looks good.
Yeah, it does look good. Kepa's an interesting one, goalkeeper for the Chelsea double. Be interesting to see how many clean sheets are in those two fixtures for Chelsea.
Maybe one, but even then, I don't really see many clean sheets. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea keep no clean sheets in the double. Because of Man City, I'd expect Man City to score. And then I wouldn't be surprised if Fulham got a goal through Mitrovic or someone like that. Should I sell Almiron? Probably not. I'd keep him.
A lot of people have mentioned this. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's basically to bring in Mount, I assume, or a Sterling or someone like Havertz, or not Havertz, but a Chelsea midfielder, I'm assuming. Let me know who you guys are thinking of selling Mount for. Sorry, selling Almiron for. Because if it's Mount, Mount's more of a short-term punt, I think, because I've got him, and I plan to sell Mount after the double probably. He got double, and then I'll probably get rid of him. So
yeah,
you have to bear that in mind as well, guys. How long you plan to keep these players?
Yeah, because I'm assuming you would want Almiron back because Newcastle fixtures do get better after Arsenal and become more easier, and as well as there's a lot of money invested in Almiron from his price rises too. So you don't really want to lose out on that especially when you bring him back in. It's going to be more expensive to buy back in your team.
Yeah, just looking at Newcastle's fixtures as well. After Arsenal, it does get easier. The only thing is, I think people are maybe not as keen on Newcastle is the fact that they don't have any double game weeks coming up or anytime soon. So Man City have doubles coming up. Liverpool might have a double coming up. Man United might have a double coming up. So maybe people are aware of that and they want a doubling player like a Mason Mount or Andres Pereira. So Fulham after that, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. I can see 3 or 4 clean sheets here for Newcastle. Fulham, Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth. Wouldn't be surprised if they kept 2-3 clean sheets. So, and in regards to Almiron, these are good fixtures for Almiron. Almiron provides a lot of value. How cheap he is, and he's still scoring goals like he's like an asset that's at least double the price he's valued at. So I like Almiron still. Fatali says he's going to follow you, Jordan, for the captaincy choice, going Haaland because you're ranked. He says Haaland can hit a hat trick against any team, and he's due a hat trick basically.
Yeah, I mean, he could have scored 5 in that last game from Man City, not the one he just had, but the one before that. I can't remember who it was that they were against. I think it was Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds, I think. Yeah.
He could have potentially scored 5 in that if he finished off his chances more better. So yeah, there's always the possibility Haaland can get a hat trick in if he is consistent with his shots.
Evening, boys. Glad to see you again. Fulham captain for game week 19. Well, Mitrovic is the only one that I'd consider for the Fulham players. So yeah, that's where I'd go if you're looking for a Fulham captain.
Yeah, or if you want to go different, there's always Andreas.
Mm-hmm. Adam Bond, I've gone from 960 overall rank to 118k in 5 game weeks. Ooh, that's a big drop, isn't it? I mean, I was something similar. I went from like inside the 100k to now 1.2 mil. So been a strange old season. We've said it a lot. Been a funny old season, and hopefully though you just turn for us managers soon. Fatali went from 19k to 1 mil. Adam Bond also says thoughts on Cancelo. Yeah, we spoke quite a lot on Cancelo. If you did miss the stream, we'll go over it again very quickly. But I think you're in that position now where you can bench him, and I'm benching him personally. I know I've got him playing right now, but I'd probably bench him and see if he starts against Chelsea. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, Cancelo is a interesting one, massive talking point. I think come the deadline stream, what happens with him. I think a lot of people will invest money into the goalkeeper instead of Cancelo, maybe just so it's covered in that particular area. I mean, you might want to get rid of Cancelo and then have maybe one attacker and one midfielder. Like obviously, maybe you just need Haaland. Maybe no one else is needed for Man City.
Fair enough, actually. Could be a shout. Obviously, Man City have a double game week in game week 20. So then we could consider a KDB or someone like a Foden if he becomes an option, but it's always that worry, as I said, with Foden.
Yeah.
NH says double game week 19 is a trap. Could be. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
With Watford, I remember last season with Dennis. Yep. And he gets a red card. Krishna, welcome to the channel. Thoughts on Nunez to Mitrovic? Got no Salah or Liverpool. If I sell, is my only worry. Also starting Cancelo with Almiron first bench. Would you do Nunez to Mitrovic, Jordan, and Mitrovic with the double? Nunez has Brentford.
No, I wouldn't be tempted with the double. I'm not tempted with the double, and I'm keeping Nunez personally in my team and not bringing in Mitrovic, which is a massive risk as well because he's on 4 yellows, so that could easily turn into one game week fixture for him. And yeah, I'd rather keep Darwin. He's getting so many chances. You just see like 2 goals or maybe a hat trick coming from him any moment now. I mean, with the chances he's getting, it's surely going to happen sooner or later. Yeah. So I'm going to stick with Nunez, I think.
Fair enough. My thoughts are you'd usually stick with Nunez, but I'd be tempted to go Mitrovic. Obviously, I have Mitrovic in my team, so I'm going to side towards Mitrovic. But yeah, just because of the double, I think Mitrovic can score in that Leicester game, and then he's got an extra game against Chelsea to do anything. Even if he gets 2 points for playing, it's just 2 points on top. So yeah, I'd always go with a doubler. But Nunez, if you sell Nunez, then you won't be really getting him back. So I plan to get Nunez back actually. My plan is to potentially sell Mitrovic after this. And if Nunez looks good against Brentford, I might want to bring Nunez back in. So if you take Nunez out of your team for Mitrovic, who are you going to sell Mitrovic to? Or do you plan to hold Mitrovic long term? Because if you take a look at Mitrovic's fixtures, they ain't great either. Because after the double, he's got Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea. And yes, he can score against these teams, but on paper, they're not the easiest fixtures. And then he's got Forest, Brighton, Wolves after that as well. So for me, he's a punt, and I plan to get rid of him. So would I advise you get rid of Nunes, who's got better fixtures long term? I don't know, actually. It's a tough one for me.
Especially when you have no Liverpool. If you do sell Nunes, I think I'd be more more confident if I had one asset from Liverpool, being Nunes as one of them, rather than no Liverpool.
Yeah, I agree, because Liverpool still, I know they haven't been great, but they still score. I know they didn't score actually last game, but they do still create a lot of chances to Salah and Nunes. So if you don't got no Liverpool players, I think that's a risk, and I'd probably keep Nunes in your case. But starting Cancelo with Almiron first bench, yeah, that you could do that and hope Cancelo starts, but I'd be just tempted to play Almiron. Would you keep KDB if you owned him? I think so, yes. I'd keep him because he had a double next week, and you'd probably play him for the double and hope he can get something. Go on, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are ahead of that. If you already have KDB, then you're in a good position to hold him for the double.
Got 2 free transfers, and though I'm burning one, basically, I wouldn't burn a transfer. Surely not. Could sell Cancelo for someone, but not sure who for, because I already got Shaw and the usual Trippier and White. You could go to Dunk. I know Jordan considered Dunk, someone like that, but maybe change your other bench players around. Maybe White to Gabriel, who's got a bit more attacking threat, do a sideways move. But I'd personally wouldn't burn a transfer. Always find something to do. Or do a goalie transfer. Maybe if you want to change your goalie, use it on that. There should be something that you want to do. But
yeah, I mean, De Gea has Bournemouth home. Could go there.
A longer term, I think Kepa's still a good pick long term. I know Chelsea today, I was just looking at the fixtures. I could see a couple clean sheets, or even Pope with Newcastle. Newcastle have some decent fixtures coming up. If you want to change your goalie, I don't know. If you really don't see a transfer in your team, Rashford, captain possibility. Not for me, but I think he's still a good. I think he'll probably get a goal or so against a good fixture for him, but I wouldn't captain him. Jordan, thoughts?
It's a possibility, definitely, but I don't think personally wouldn't go there. Very stuck on Haaland. I mean, if I knew he wasn't playing against Chelsea, then I might be tempted to go with Rashford versus Bournemouth.
Fair enough. And Sports Cat, unsure on which 2 defenders to pick out of Cancelo, White, Trippier. For me, Trippier and probably Cancelo. Actually, no. I'd bench Cancelo, play White and Trippier, and then see what Cancelo, if he actually starts against Chelsea. Because he might not actually start.
No, I'm not too confident he will either. And even if he does, can you see a clean sheet coming from Man City too? They haven't kept many.
I mean, with Man City, it was weird because that goal from Everton, it was a. I don't know if for those that watched it, it was a worldy goal from outside the box. Demarai Gray just puts it top corner. Man City don't give up many chances. I don't think, but the XG conceded is still quite low, so they're not conceding many like Liverpool, for example. On the other hand, Liverpool concede a lot of high quality chances. Like teams are getting great chances against Liverpool. I don't think that's the case with Man City. I just feel like teams are still scoring from any little chances they are finding against Man City. But I still think, yes, Man City's defense hasn't been as good compared to recent seasons. So I don't think Man City defenders are. I wouldn't recommend holding on to your Man City defenders. I don't think there's any need really. But yeah. Also got another question here. Krishna, when's the Brighton double? Well, Brighton's double isn't confirmed yet, is it?
No, I've heard it's in 21 though.
Potentially though, but it's not actually confirmed yet. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. It's nothing's confirmed, but they should have a double potentially coming up. It's not confirmed on FPL website anyway, as of now. I've just checked. But yeah, we're probably going to wrap the stream up here, I think. There is about 25 of you in here. So if you haven't liked the video And I know there's a few of you that haven't liked it. So stop what you're doing, guys, and just drop a like, because it really helps the channel out and it helps us, grow the channel and helps with the YouTube algorithm. So like the stream. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel for more FPL content. With that said, I'm going to quickly take this off the screen. We're going to be back again tomorrow. Deadline stream at 4 p.m. So it's a 4 p.m. deadline, guys, earlier deadline. So make sure you are, your team is set for that, 4 p.m. UK time. We're going to go live at 3 p.m. UK time, so an hour before the deadline. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be good. Am I going to captain Mount, or am I going to play it safe with Haaland and just chicken out? We'll see. It's going to be a good one. So make sure you do tune in tomorrow for the deadline stream. And just want to say a big thank you to everyone that has joined the stream. It's been a lively one. I've enjoyed reading all your comments out and stuff. It's been a good chat. I want to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers as well. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's been we had a lot of support recently. So hopefully a big 2023. And also Happy New Year to everyone as well. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we do wrap it up here?
Thanks everyone for watching. Loved all your questions from the chat. Always appreciated that you voice your opinions and we try and answer your questions as best we can. And Happy New Year to everyone in 2023. Hopefully you all had a great start to the new year. Hope you all got green arrows from this game week, and hopefully in the future they start to come more and we all improve in our ranks.
That's it from the FPL Duo. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again tomorrow for that deadline stream. Take care, guys, and see you soon.